Hello. So we're a team that helps in boosting the Nigerian entertainment economy, flying so high with our quality that you may be tempted to think we all studied astronomy, highly influenced by threats or favors because of our level of autonomy. That's why, if we're to be a book in the Bible, you rather call us Genesis and not Deuteronomy. As here we classify the excitement for you like it happens in taxonomy. Welcome to FATG Uncensored. My name is Chuma Nnoli. I'm in the company of men who are heavyweights in this industry. What's popping, man? Brownish and Overdose. What are you guys drinking actually? What's up, man?
I'm sure you won't want to.
You don't want to know.
No, you know we told you.
Why you drink lazy bastard guy drink?
Actually, it starts from the foundation up. So we built the foundation, the inner added.
Started from the gutter, now we're here.
Now we
Started from the glass, now we are here. You understand?
I follow
Started
get
from the bottom of the glass.
I follow get. Now like say personally let me drink. Alright. So guys, we love several things really as guys generally. We love music, we love movies, we love women, we love football.
We love life.
We love a lot.
We love football,
Yeah,
we love
we
all
love
those things. We love basketball and everything like that really.
So
Several
we
things
don't
we
love
love.
to do overwork.
Yeah, I get that part. We love money too. That part very important.
We do.
But let's just talk a bit about football, shall we?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, personally for myself, my first exposure to football, what made me say, okay, there's a sport like this thing's sweet, was national team, Super Eagles, under 17. You start hearing names like Wilson Oruma, and they're very young, but okay, Wilson Oruma, okay, Kanu Wanko, oh nice, that 1993 set that won the under 17 World Cup.
Yeah.
That was my first knowledge to say, okay, I don't hear something about football and stuff like that. National team. It was now later I started hearing about, okay, there's one team called Ajax, 1995. They won the Champions League, you get.
Yeah.
For you guys, Brownish, to start with you. Your first exposure to football. Can your memory help you now?
My first exposure to football, I remember because my dad was an Arsenal fan. For any reason, I have no idea why. I'm kidding, but yes, he was an Arsenal fan primarily, I think, because of Kanu Wanko back then. So he was an Arsenal fan. So he used to rope me into that. At that point in time, I didn't really care how much of a fan he was, but Kanu Wanko, and then also Bolton Wanderers with JJ. Within that same time period, and then I started getting involved a bit more with like World Cups and almost so.
So was it club or national team for you first?
For me, it was club. It was club because club football, Premier League football, was more frequent on TV. So my dad would, when he was watching his games, he would come and he would sit down. I distinctly remember multiple times asking him, and him just coming in or calling us in or calling me in and asking, okay, so look at the two teams that are playing. Which one do you want to win? What's the color? Do you want the white people to win or the red people to win? So that kind of thing. So that was more like my first exposure, even though it wasn't overly frequent, because I wouldn't say that my dad was an overly dedicated football fan.
Every other
but
weekend,
it was a good way to just hang out with him and just chill. So that was my first exposure into football.
Wow, my first exposure. That goes way back. That goes.
Will you leave your composure now?
Way back to
When football was being discovered.
for some reason, I started following football. I'll ignore your
Shame.
shaming me, Brownish.
Let me even wear my glasses.
For me personally, my football knowledge started from 1990, Italian 90.
Okay.
Yes, because of one man, Salvatore Schillaci. I used to hear that name. I was like, Schillaci. Like, oh, Schillaci. And then from there, it just got better. In fact, I can tell you that from 1990 till 92, 93, 94, I was sitting down with my father and he was giving me stories of how Paulo Rossi, inspired the Italian team. I remember there was a time he told me, I think it was Paulo Rossi, he came out of prison to play the World Cup, for Italy. And, we had those stories. It was so bad that I'll enter the living room when they're playing the match. I say, this match is between so and so. My father was like,
that much.
Like,
following it,
if you took your studies this serious, I'm telling you, you come on, from there, I started developing love for football. Then it took me to 1994, the USA 94 World Cup.
Okay.
Before then, there was the Nations Cup. So what my dad used to do was that while those matches are being played, he'll record them on tape, VHS, tape recorders, and then he will label them. So most of the time, I'll go back and watch those matches.
Nice. Argentina versus Mexico, you now carry.
Exactly. I still remember the first one. That was during the Tunisia '94 Nations Cup.
Back in the Stone Ages.
Yeah. Bro. That time when you
have of this.
And then,
television sets to have one big back like that.
Yeah, there was Michel Bassolo in that Ivorian squad. I think that was the first ever match he recorded. Alain Gomeni was the goalkeeper of Cote d'Ivoire. I still remember. Nigeria played, I think it was 2-2. And then it went to penalties. There was one that Benny Roja, I think Michel Bassolo scored the first goal. Then Benny Roja equalized. It was a 1-2 JJ Okocha. And then, of course, Benny Roja scored. And ever since then, I've been following football.
You know why I asked this question?
Yeah.
I asked this question because I wanted to realize from our POV, which baptized us into the game, club football or international football. I am international football. You are international football. He's club football. And it follows the sequence. Yeah. We're older than Brownish. Both of us actually are.
Definitely.
So it shows that club football became even more popular as the years came and went.
Definitely.
And we're at a stage now where players are being invited to national teams. And I am injured. I picked up an ankle injury while playing for Arsenal on Saturday. England, sorry, I cannot come around. Please. And then by the time the international window now finishes, next Arsenal match, you don't appear again.
You don't come.
You get. And this is just an example, because it's happened to many national teams.
It's so bad that even your club coach will support you in telling the national team.
You see, so FIFA has rules and regulations. One of their rules is if you're eligible for a national team and you're invited by that national team to come and represent them, except you retired from the game, your club is obliged to release you to the national team. And that no contract signed between any player and the club should supersede that rule. FIFA have that in their rule books officially. I'm not reading it verbatim right now, but there is something like that. But we're getting to a place where the Three Lions of England had UEFA Nations League games to play, 8 players out injured. I'm not disputing the fact that these players were injured, right? We've seen national teams too where they want players to come through. These players are injured. We've even seen national teams where the coach, like Didier Deschamps, says, Mbappe, no worry, I know you just come back from injuries. Stay Real Madrid, no worry. Now me they tell you, make you stay Real Madrid. But French fans are saying, guy, are you playing for us or are you playing for Real Madrid? Loyalty now comes into the conversation. Sure. Where should this loyalty, Brownish, where should it lie for these players? I believe there should be a 50-50 rule. But I don't know if you guys think otherwise.
I'll let Overdose go first.
So
because they both have their benefits, playing for national team and then playing for club.
But again, the national team will not pay as much as the club is paying.
So now life is all about the money. Individual and
I know players can come out and say, oh, you know what, I want to play for this club. And history has shown over time. That's why whenever players come out to say stuff like that, I always take it with a pinch of salt.
Okay.
I remember when Kaka was still in AC Milan, he was like, oh, I'm going to play and give my life as captain of AC Milan. I want to stay here for long. Real Madrid came knocking, and the following month, I was surprised that Kaka moved from AC Milan to Real Madrid. This was the man who said, my heart is in Milan, I love the Milan fans. So we've had it over time. When Rooney moved to Everton, he said he used to sleep with Everton pajamas. And I'm like, what are you saying, guy? So most of the time I feel that this player just say these things because, maybe they don't want to ruffle any feathers. But they don't think, what happens when I eventually move? How do the fans react to this? Because at the end of the day, fans will be like, this guy, you told us we were staying, now you move. And there's nothing they will say again that will be taken, really seriously. So personally, I just feel if the countries or the national teams can say, okay, you know what, if you come to play for us, we know that we're not going to pay as much as your club, but there's a certain incentive. You understand? Which, of course, I know Nigeria players actually get. The NFF will give them bonuses,
promises at
games. Yeah, exactly. Matches will be played, and then if they get to win, they collect a certain amount. But the truth is, it can never ever get to be like you getting £300,000 a week from your club.
Bro, I hear this your money talk. But if Brownish is not saying anything, I will say something immediately before he says something. Yes, money is important. You're collecting this 300,000 already from club.
Yeah.
When national team wants you, club is free. This is an international window. It's not like club is playing football now. Go and play and you can come back and play for that club. Yes, you're scared of injuries.
Yeah.
Yes, I know some of the benefits of playing for club include, like you said, money. includes even when you're injured, they are the ones who take care of you most times, the national teams. Includes the fact that you want to have longevity in your career. So you see certain people retire from international football, but they're still playing club football. However, bro, the same Premier League, for example, in this context, will tell an African player, if you don't have a certain percentage of playing for your national team, we're not going to give you work permits to come play for Premier League.
True.
The same national team that gave you the platform to become a star and go to that league, you're not going to become big boy now for that league. You can't look down on national team.
For me, I feel like the problem inherently lies in the number of fixtures nowadays.
Exactly.
So when you think about the fact that, and you know, it's been said that you know that national team football is less than 1% of the football you play in a traditional club football season. Yes, because more often than not, it's like maybe over one weekend or like 2 weeks, but it's still one weekend. So you're only missing a weekend of club football. That's if you're in a team that is playing, that is not playing the Champions League. You know, but truth be told. And you know, this is coming from somebody who has seen his preferred club lose players, to injuries over national team duties. The problem is not even that the prestige of playing for the national team has been reduced. But if you remember, during those times that you guys mentioned that you guys got hooked in football, right? Before you saw national team football, more often than not, it was like 2 years. Aside from the qualifiers, it was like maybe 2 years before you saw a major tournament.
2, 3, 4 years.
2, 3, 4 years. So, you're waiting for the World Cup, and maybe they're playing the Euros, Copa America.
And it was only the Nations Cup that was like 2 years.
And then sparingly, the games were picked for qualification.
Television,
as
at that time.
And at that time. So more often than not, even though most of the national team games are not even being televised, but the players they were making reasons. I've forgotten what player it was. What Nigerian player it was that repeatedly paid for a private jet to fly to Nigeria to play for Nigeria and then fly back.
I know people like Keshi were the big boys.
Yeah, I think Stephen Keshi.
Those were the big boys that I'm not certain that's the example.
But there was a certain gravitas that was held for national team games.
So what happened?
So I feel like the infusion of too many fixtures and too many competitions, even on the national team scale, has sort of watered down in the same way that I kind of feel like, despite the fact that this new Champions League format is a fantastic thing, because now it's really exposing inconsistencies when clubs are playing, but it also will kind of water down the fact that the Champions League started earlier this season. You're playing more games this season. Some of these things,
2 more matches in that supposed stage.
Instead of 6, you're playing 8 games. So scarcity breeds a certain level of weight, lends a certain amount of weight to certain things. Now, for national team competitions, winning the World Cup is still the biggest you could win.
So you don't talk am now.
It's still the biggest.
You don't talk am, then you don't go to respect that national team. When they call you for qualifiers and Nations League, you don't come. When it's World Cup time, you say, "Oh, it's the biggest thing." I want to happen for national
But
team.
here's the thing. I'm not agreeing with you. Wait. Let me talk. Wait now. Okay. So let's also not forget.
Don't censor his words, please. Please don't censor.
Let's also not forget that these players also have to, they are not always playing the World Cup. Every time they go for the national team, it's not always the World Cup. Personally, I feel like, if your national team calls you up, you should have the right to say no, but you should choose to say yes. Because again, it's 1%. I feel like it's conceit. Because when you think about it, more often than not, some of the greatest players have sacrificed a lot to play for their national teams. You look at the Ronaldos, the Lionel Messi, Diego Armando Maradona, Pelé, even Kaká, Ronaldinho, players that traditionally they were the best in the world at what they did or in their position. But when the national team called, they stepped up. And now you have a new crop of players that are blatantly saying reputedly that, only call me up for the important games because I want to win the Ballon d'Or. Which is hilarious and ludicrous. I think that is because the national teams tend to coddle these players. If you realize, in Brazil, more often than not, the players that popped off, that got mad name, were players that the Brazilian national team might have brought from somewhere. They will bring from Santos, come and play for us.
Like that.
Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, nowadays, you see a player that is playing in Real Madrid, but the Three Lions are pursuing him. You don't have good players in the Premier League. You don't have good players in the second division.
You're waiting for the club to
sell it
to you.
Exactly.
National teams are selling the player to the club in the context of exposing them.
So when you have players again that found their fame from playing for a big tournament in the national team, they made their name on the world stage. Every time the national team calls them, they will step up. But nowadays, clubs, because of again fixture congestion and the frequency of seeing it, clubs are making the players. So the players seem, and they are making them and paying them more money. Hence, why the clubs now seem to have more of a stranglehold on the players. So personally, I feel like they should go for the national team call-ups because you know go commit anything for your body.
Let's not even forget that most of these players are called up because of their performance at club level.
No.
Yeah,
Not necessarily their talent.
Yeah, they don't have talent, but when a coach sees that, oh, you scored 4 matches in a row, he want to call you up and say, oh, that guy, Norwegian,
let's test him
out. To the Norwegian national team. But the truth of the matter is, it's now become every month when you see an international window. It didn't used to be like that before. But in the month of October, you just see 3 weeks of Premier League football.
One
last month international window. November, 1 week international window.
September was the same.
Exactly. And it used to be like that. Now, fixture congestion. Now you're playing to qualify for the World Cup or the Euros or the Nations League. Or you're just, and now,
or
these bodies are now looking at, you know, especially when it comes to the World Cup, and it's just 1 month. No, now, let's make it an expanded format. Okay, so from 24 to 32 teams. No, 32 is not enough. Let's make it 42 or 36. 48. You know, and then you just sit down and continue to expand. And because there are more matches to qualify.
And they are also playing more matches at club level. There's the Club World Cup that has gotten an expanded format. The Champions League has gotten, you know, they want to expand.
Yeah. I love the difference you guys are making for clubs, and I appreciate that, and it's true. However, bro, national team is your country. One day you will not play for Chelsea again, but you will always be a Nigerian, for example.
Yes.
One day you will not play for Real Madrid again, but you will always be a Colombian. It's your country. Without that country, you don't have an identity.
So can I say
club know for reason you if you don't come from somewhere first.
So those
Uncle lie, you can say something, sir.
Okay.
So my
defense, but come on, bro.
So here's the thing. The thing is, when you even think about like teams like the Three Lions, right? For a long time, even though Calvin Phillips wasn't really performing at club level, Gareth Southgate kept calling him to the national team. Harry Maguire, the same thing. When fans looked at that, when even English fans looked at that, they were calling Gareth Southgate all manner of names. And why do you believe in these people? You know, all of that kind of thing. But you see, the problem with that is that that's exactly what national teams used to do before. A national team would see that you're absolute rubbish with your club side, but they believe in your talent. So they will call you up, and it used to be the ultimate stamp of approval to be called up to your national team.
Yeah.
Because even if you are not doing it at club level, you would give everything for the national team badge. Now, fans are more impatient. National teams are not doing the work that they used to do before, where they would go and actually scout you out. Gareth Southgate was phenomenal at that. He would go to virtually all the games of the players that he wanted to call to the national team to see what they were doing and their training sessions, those kinds of things. That's what national teams should do. How many national teams actually do that? And then when you now come in the case of Nigeria, where I don't know what they do on the national scale when it comes for the MPFL and all of that, because it's not televised. You can't watch an MPFL game and see that, oh, the coach of the Super Eagles, Austin Eguavon, is in the stands. He's watching. So it's starting now. But the thing is, we can't even see. But you hear, oh, he called Noni Madueke to try and convince him to play for the national team. So what's the point? Why? He was born in England. He was raised in England.
How does it even make you feel if you are invited to the national team for a major tournament and you don't get to play until the final and you win, and you're always on the soft bench? You know there are players like that. They call them to the national team. All they do is train. Match day, they are not on the squad. They sit down there. Throughout the group stage, they're on the bench. Round of 16 on the bench. Quarter final on the bench. Only when your team scores, hey, you celebrate. At the end of the day, they give you medal. Do you truly deserve that medal?
You won the World Cup with your team. Not every player in Chelsea will have a chance. Well, it's Conference League though, so they will allow them to play. But not every player. No, because it's no. Chelsea. I should give Chelsea this on your glasses so that they can take their shade. Christian Carambo, the former Real Madrid guy, Champions League day in CV. Be like World Cup day in CV. You go there say you don't win World Cup. Like whether they bench or not.
My brother, see,
if you come from talented country where get plenty star players. You say that you said no go mind say you dey bench.
They always say that it is where a child gets his mouth oily, the frequency hangs out.
I thought you were not going to share problems.
If at the end of the day, I know that playing for my club side, I will maybe they score at least 2 goals, 3 goals on a regular every match week. And I know that in the national team, there are players who are higher than me in terms of goal scoring. Because when it comes to my club side, I might be the number 1 guy.
Yeah, but your national team.
But in national team, there are 3 other hot guys before me who is number 4. And then those guys will always start and they deliver. At the end of the day, how does that make you feel?
So can I answer this?
Yes.
Okay. Now that is not on the national team, that's on you.
How?
Because here's the thing, they will play you if you're better than those 3 guys.
Okay,
So if you're not better than those 3 guys,
you know what they say, and that settles it. That settles it. Thank you.
No, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. You know
Up your game. Upon that, guys. Chuma's final take on this issue, my personal take on this issue is, you can eat your bread and still have it when it comes to national team and club issues. 50-50.
What if you like Pawpaw?
You say you can eat your bread and
what if you like Pawpaw?
There's a reason for the national team when they invite you.
Yeah.
Go to your club and give your best when it's time to go back to your club. Don't prioritize playing for your club over your national team from the POV that when they invite you, you now say, you now agree with your medical team or your club and tell them I'm injured. In the context of this, so let it be 50-50.
Okay, you say you can eat your bread and see how.
You know, because we need to enjoy our daily bread.
As 3 of us are gathered, you can refer to us as brethren.
Yeah, I know you were going to talk rubbish.
No, but
you're right. I want to leave this set.
Why do you think a head of the family is called the breadwinner?
Yeah, true.
Think about it.
So, dear brethren,
I would rather not.
Thank you, dear brethren. In summation, as we wrap this very side of the conversation up, 50% when national team needs you, give it. When club needs you, because eventually the biggest prize in football, the biggest prize is not the Champions League, it's not the La Liga, it's not the Premier League, it's the World Cup.
What if the coach doesn't?
Who plays in the World Cup?
National team. What I would say.
I need to hear your summation.
I feel like
give me a percentage. What are people saying?
My summation is that first of all, I feel like FIFA needs to reduce the number of games.
Then our clubs don't go reduce. Only that to reduce.
That's why I said FIFA. In general,
I get.
They need to reduce the number of games because there's still life after money.
Yeah.
It's not a very good life, but there's still life after money. But I really feel like there's still a lot of if there are less games, there is a higher likelihood that players will be willing to go for their national teams because they are less strained. So while I do agree with you, I feel like the national team requires a high level of commitment, which is something that I think that Spain also gives. I don't think you can even refuse unless you're actually injured. And they will send their own medical staff to come and check you out, right? So, but here's the thing. The thing is, players deserve a right. I believe that if FIFA is going to increase the number of games, then players should have a right to refuse to play certain games because of their health. Because regardless of how much they are paid, they're still human beings.
But again, you talked about in general. Now, I don't want to say in your tenor, but in lieu of the fact that you just mentioned something.
Overdose, bye-bye.
No, wait, now, brother, stop. In lieu of the fact that, in lieu of what you said, not lieutenant, though, I would say, and this is me now, that it has to be 70-30. 70 to club side, 30 to national team. You know why?
If you're gaining more from club, you might as well.
If I get injured playing for national team, who will treat me?
No, but the national team also pays.
The club will say,
if you get injured for national team,
when you represent your national, I get what you're saying. You're right. But when you represent your national team in the World Cup, FIFA gives you your club money.
Yes, if you don't get injured, FIFA still gives your club money.
Yes, and then
you're going to be out for so long. True. FIFA will give you.
I think I overdose. Come anywhere. I'll be a happy man. Any money play for club than play for my national team. You know why? Because people who play for their national team and don't have money, they are not remembered. But when you play for your club and you earn money, you can live the life. You go
whether they remember you or not.
Say Chelsea. When they are paying you 600,000, you know what 600,000 is?
A week. But that's only like 10% of players in general that make up to that kind
of money. I don't think I'm not part of that 10%.
You know, one thing is glaring too. That in all of these things you're doing, you still have to have originality. So you can remember your face. When I go holla my name someday.
Someday! I don't know how you tell a joke. That's how you drop a punchline.
That's why we are different. It just is like that. I tell man.
You don't stop telling yours.
Before we leave here today, because I know it's time when they wrap things up, we'll do a run come out from this place. Let's remember that we're Nigerian, Sha. So we look at our national teams more. The Super Eagles.
Yeah.
2025 AFCON they come. We don't top our group already for AFCON qualifiers.
Shout out to
great stuff, Abi. I will top that group.
Yeah.
Great
Nice
stuff.
commentary too, man.
Fantastic. Shout out to you. Kudos.
Who get detergent around?
Me then wash you wear.
Directors for background. I beg, Femi, you get detergent. This guy wash me well. You don't talk about me. This guy wash me well. This wash me well. As of today, now, the AFCON is like in a year time. But as of today, if I ask you guys,
They finally decided when
Morocco now, when Morocco is too fresh. Bro,
we have to
bro.
sponsors.
Bro.
This is a public service announcement. We want to go represent the national team.
As of today,
Yeah.
where do you guys rate the Super Eagles amongst the 24 teams that will be in that AFCON? Say, rate us where our chances of winning is. Whether we are number one, you think we have the best chance as the first or second best chance or the third best chance or fourth best chance or fifth best chance of winning the AFCON. As of today, where will they?
Considering where we finished off in the last AFCON, despite having
Eye contact.
So considering where we finished in the last AFCON, despite having what I felt like wasn't necessarily an overly prepared team, because we also had key figures like Wilfred Ndidi out, and we muddled through, and we managed to come second. I think on the continent, I actually do think that we have the best team that is equipped to probably win the AFCON.
So as of today, like this,
I would say that we're favorites. I back the Super Eagles 100%, and here's why: we have a group of we have every single position. I think we have a strong lineup. In defense, we have a strong lineup of players that marshal the defense and can still bomb forward and help out. Defensive midfield and midfield in general, I think we have a fairly okay, if not strong midfield. Attacking wise, I don't think that there's any country. There's no national team that has on the continent that has a stronger attacking lineup than
100%, bro. 100.
In between the sticks, I also think that Wabali has a great chance, and the Maduka Okoye as well, as a backup, or one of them can just take over from the other.
Yeah.
So personally, I feel like we have the strongest chance, and I've watched the games that we've played, not just in the Super Eagles, but I've watched a variety of Super Eagles playing, in their clubs as well.
Yeah.
And I know that our forward lineup, I don't have any fear at all.
Even without we look to these goals, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't have any fear. I just feel like, and this is not a shade. Let it be known that this is not a shade. I feel like we need.
That's why you took off your shades.
Yes, that's why I took off my shades. So in case I need to give somebody, maybe I collect the shade. I'm not shading anybody. I'm not the sun. But
yeah, you're not slim. You're not slim shady. Sorry.
I'm not slim shady, so I can't stand up. But what I will say, I feel like overdose. I feel like we need to sort out our coaching department. I feel like more often than not, and this is not a shade to anybody, like I said, I feel like more often than not, the team looks like it is lacking in ideas sometimes for how to break teams down, especially when those teams are not trying to be open and attacking us. When teams sit back and defend in a low block, we tend to have issues because there's less space to run in behind. There are more players around our forward players. There's nobody shooting from range. I think I'm not saying change the coach. Okay. I'm just saying that if the coach can discover more ways for us to attack that is not completely dependent on the individual brilliance of our forward players, I think the AFCON is in the bag even before it started.
This guy don't give us first. Where you go place us? He's put us as number one amongst the 24. As at today, of course, things can change.
Especially considering the fact that the last time we came second, and we could have easily come first.
Yeah, we could have easily come first, but again,
we didn't win the contest. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There are concerns I need to highlight, and starting from the game yesterday, I just feel
not really in that context, obviously. Yeah.
But again, if you tell me I can actually answer regarding that context. But again, back to where you actually asked the question.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to a contest, like the AFCON, I always feel Nigeria are right up there. We might not be first, maybe second.
You put us second as of today.
Second.
Okay.
I'll put us second behind Senegal. I still think Senegal are in top four.
The same Senegal will come up for last 16 or so.
You
But
can't just
last
judge them by just one tournament. I don't like, I don't like judging a team by their first round. I mean, you look at the fact that Argentina lost the first game of the World Cup, but they went on to win it.
Argentina
So never judge a man
Messi
by his first round. But that being said,
why am I thinking of something else really?
I don't know something else. But it's true, never judge a man by his first round because you surprise me. Now, continue.
Surprise me with what? Longevity.
No, it's second, third, and even.
Fourth round. No, but
Can you now just round up? Can you just round up?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's super good. Yeah, like I mean, Brandon said, we have very, we have a top attacking, front line in terms of players scoring. I mean, that is known, but generally we just need to improve on midfield and defense. And I just feel that injuries have not done us well, especially when you count down to major tournaments. Boniface should have been part of the last AFCON. He was out injured. Wilfred Ndidi as well. But even at that, we went all the way to the final. I think that it's just fine matching stance. Actually, will not see us winning. And if we can sort that out, I think we're forced to reckon with. My problem now is qualifying for the World Cup. I think the AFCON, we always ace it. Even if you don't get to win the tournament, we actually finish with a medal, bronze medal, silver medal. We know we always get to that point where we distinguish ourselves. I mean, Nigeria is a force to reckon when it comes to the continent, but
yes, sir.
World Cup, I want to see us. It's quite unfortunate that I don't know if I should say it's unfortunate, but Morocco gets into the semi-final of the World Cup before us. That's because they have structure all around on the 17.
And I think that we can replicate that
as well.
You mean we, right?
Yeah.
I feel like,
but from that angle, I don't even want to go that side. However, if I was going to be tempted to, just briefly, I'll be like, okay, bro, Ghana were the first to win a medal in the Olympics in football for Africa. We allowed them be the first to win bronze. We now became the first to win gold. So Morocco can be first to reach semi-finals. It doesn't stop us from being the first African team to win the World Cup if we put our house in order.
So I feel like we should put our house in order before the World Cup.
So the fact that they reach semi-finals before us, no wahala, hold your record, hold them. But if we want to do our own, now to win them, hopefully for my lifetime and your lifetime too.
Amen.
Because when the guys go Italian 90, like you don't pass all of us combined.
When you look at the last AFCON, we're calling for gold, but we got silver. So I think that's the silver lining towards Morocco because when you look at it
Ensure.
I think at this stage we've hit the finish mark. Yeah. We're not Marco silver.
Oh yeah, like Marcus Rashford. Let's go there.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't surprise this guy never drinking drink finish. 12 months don't drink our drink finish. This guy never been drink.
No, this is the end where
what's the elevate? Was it extra?
This is the part where I dedicate this to the fans. This is the first podcast we're having. So to the fans, I say,
Shayo.
I mean, it's going to be a regular feature talking about this podcast. So this one's for you.
Thank you so much for joining us on FATG Uncensored. And it was nice being with these guys, really. This guy, he's brown, he deserves the crown.
I should never frown.
Yeah, and as a team with him in the mix, we'll never drown. And then this one makes things drizzle. Money, drizzle. That's why they call him over diesel. His skin is smooth, there's no measles. But that's been FATG Uncensored, brought to you by Femi and the gang. We'll be back next week for another exciting episode. Let's keep arguing as to national team or clubs. I think that it should be given to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and not unto those what belongs to those.
But again,
if a lady does not like you, don't seize her. Leave her, let her go. Thank you. My name is Chuma Brownish and Overdose. Thanks guys for coming through.
Well, of course, just to add to what you said, if a guy loves a girl, he has to see her. You understand? And not see her.
Ensure. I don't think
if you see her and not see her, that's on you. Thank you.
Oshe, baddest. You know who I am? You know how many people I've worked with in this industry? Do you know Brownish? I've worked with him. You know about those? I've worked with him as well. These are heavyweights of this industry. And I am in their company.
Does that make you decent? Anyway,
I'm industrious.
So Chuma will start the intro and the other.
Let's give it a day ground first. We can't carry and pour them to ourselves.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Premier League at least. So even if it's not what we're doing, but at least if you can say, oh, I see what you guys do online.
Yeah.
How much is the bill for this very one? We're gonna bring 10 million, eh? 1 million for each member of the team. So let's go, Tommy. Let's go.
Sorry, make it
Okay, so we're good.
Let's go.
Let's try my one when you do this thing now. Alright, we're gonna go with this straight away. Okay, they look you now. See now. Hello, we're a team that helps in boosting.
What's that sound? Like something.
Something else.
Huh?
No, move on. Okay. So we're good.
Let's take that again.
Hello. So we're a team that helps in boosting the Nigerian entertainment economy, flying so high with our quality that you may be tempted to think we all studied astronomy. Highly influenced by threats or favors because of our level of autonomy. That's why we're to be a book in the Bible. You rather call us Genesis and not Deuteronomy. That's how we classify the excitement for you like it happens in taxonomy. Welcome to FATG Uncensored. Have we agreed?
Yes, we have.
You just stick around that. Of course. Okay, we'll leave out uncensored. Okay. I make a drum again. No vex. I want the show say the name. I wait till we agree.
Okay.
Scared of the eye.
You don't need Loki.
Alright, let's go. Alright.
I don't need actually.
I would like that part when we start the recording. Let me already like onto these mics, me no come run down. Because we don't want them since.
I.
Okay, let's go. No, I will drink you later. Wait for me. No, okay, I don't drink that. Just come camera.
It's not your brother. Yes, it's fine. All your leads in your brother. We'll make a good deal.
Let's go.
Okay, so we're a team that helps in boosting the Nigerian entertainment economy, flying so high with our quality that you may be tempted to think we all studied astronomy, highly influenced by threats or favors because of our level of autonomy. That's why we're typically. Oh, I don't talk rubbish. Who sent me to go drink?
Maybe first mix and first, no vex. Never give Chivita first.
I don't know if there is a good drink Mattel. I need different cartel, no vex.
Mr. Chips, no vex. He go be saying like saying I only me they drink this juice because I don't nearly finish.
No, we'll draw now. Don't worry, I'll just play.
But I said we will just take that first.
All right, we're good. Let's go now. Since you know you won't go, why this sweat?
Yeah, we'll take a very short time, but let's go.
We already had some shots, so.
Yeah.
By short, he may say drink, will not be this thing.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
All right, so a team that helps in boosting the Nigerian entertainment economy, flying so high with our quality that you may be tempted to think we all studied astronomy, highly influenced by threats or favors because of our level of autonomy. That's why if we were to be a book in the Bible, you rather call us Genesis, not Deuteronomy. That's how we classify the excitement for you like it happens in taxonomy. We are Femi and the gang, an amazing team on other territories.
So aside from that, this conversation I'm about to have, I hope it doesn't get me cancelled because you know say I did
Cancel culture, bro. Well, at this stage, I will first cancel you. I don't say what will make them cancel you.
Unagi.
Like, you know, Brownish should say, but it's always
It's going to be here.
You know, I've been looking forward to this, and I think now that we are on this platform, it's always good, you know, when you have ideas to share outside of the studio. And I think this is a very wonderful platform. If I do say so myself.
I get really, because in the studio, you know, for you drink this thing where you drink here. So
to be honest, of course you enjoy it.